Okay, and it's time to do change the subject. Change the subject, as in we're rearranging equations. I'm not suddenly going to do a history lecture. So yes, change the subject. Change the subject. So what we're going to do, the main thing of this, there's two good rules. BODMAS in reverse. Okay, we all know about BODMAS, BIMDAS, BIDMAS, whatever you want to call it. We're doing that in reverse. Okay, so we want to move adds and subtracts. Then we want to move multiply and divides. Then we move our order and then our brackets. We do that. And how do we move something? Well, we have to do the opposite. So think of an equation as like a little seesaw. If I have 3x plus 2 over here, well, if I want to move and add 2, well, it means, okay, I'll get rid of add 2. To get rid of add 2, what I had to do was, I'll maybe write it actually like this, I had to take away 2 from this side, but to keep things balanced, I had to do it on the other side as well. So it's people always say it's like you change the side, change the sign. It's kind of like that, but not really. But that's kind of what happens. So what you're doing is the opposite of what you want to undo. So I want to undo that 3. I'd need to say, okay, well on this side then I'm going to have to divide by 3. Then I have to divide this side by 3. So to remove something over, you do the opposite, and you do it to both sides. So it kind of appears on the other side, the other way around. So let's have a look. Change the subject to B. So there's B in there. Now, this one, you would think from what I just said, you're going to move the 4 first, but this is probably the trickiest thing to know, is that this is in a kind of invisible bracket. B plus 4 is like a little expression together by itself. So that's actually up here, isn't it? That's in the bracket territory. So I want to move my divide c squared. I want to do this. So how do I move c squared? Well, I times both sides by c squared. So that's d plus 4 over c squared. So what I sometimes do is I'll method line on the side just to see what I'm doing. I'm timesing by c squared. And I do it over here because it's nice and neat. What I'm actually doing is I'm timesing this side by c squared, and I'm timesing this side by c squared. If I do it on this side, you see here, it cancels out, doesn't it? That's a little bracket. That cancels out. So you're left with c squared d is equal to d plus 4. d plus 4, sorry. There we go, b plus 4. And then to get rid of the 4, I'm saying, okay, well, I'm going to take away 4 from both sides, which would look something like this. I'm taking away 4 from there, and I'm taking away 4 from here. So when I take away 4 from this side, this cancels out, and I'm left with c squared d, take away 4, is equal to b. And we always write the subject on the left. That's good mathematical kind of procedure etiquette, and that's us done. So don't be confused that there's a square term in there. I don't have to root anything. We're just moving that term up. That term is all together. And yeah, this bracket, that's the thing that gets most people. Okay, so BODMAS in reverse, but this is a big bracket. So let's blast through a few of these then. Okay, so X is subject. First thing I would do here is I'd rewrite it like this. If I time something by a half, I'm dividing by 2. And I'm trying to get X as the subject. So I'm going to times both sides by 2. How do I get rid of H? Well, I'll divide both sides by H. And then how do I get rid of the Y? I will simply take away Y. And I'm taking away Y from this entire thing. Okay? Don't write it as 2a take away Y over H. That entire function is now Y taken off it. Okay, so make sure it's clear. Your Y shouldn't be up here being divided. It should be very separate, very separate. So that's probably the hardest thing with this, is knowing that when you time something by a half, you're dividing it by 2. And to move it up, you're just doing the opposite, times in both sides by 2, dividing by H. Okay. Next one. Little line under that. We're saying Y is equal to G root X plus H. We're trying to make X the subject. Okay, so BODMAS in reverse says I want to move this first. Yeah, move the add. So Y take away H. Tell me why. And get rid of the G. So Y take away H divided by G is equal to root X. To get rid of that X, I'm then going to have to square both sides. So I'm going to say we've got space. Let's say that X is equal to, y take away h over g, and this is all squared. Square both sides. So I moved my h over, got rid of the take, got rid of the add, got rid of the multiply, got rid of the root. So that's classic BODMAS in reverse. That's the classic one. These ones are just a wee bit. You had to know here to move the 2 down, get the half down, and on this one you had to know they were together. That's your classic BODMAS in reverse. Flash it. Okay. This one, oh, that's the is that distance travelled? Is a remember that from physics? Something like that. Is that S distance? Okay, this looks quite. Oh, this looks a bit tricky, doesn't it? So let's see what we get. So we're trying to move to get A. Okay. So the first thing I'd be doing is saying, right, I want rid of this because I've got this function plus this function. So let's just get rid of this function, shall we? So let's see, we've got S take away ut, and that still leaves me with a half at squared. Okay, it looks a bit easier now, doesn't it? A bit easier. Now let's just rewrite the half at squared as divided by 2, like I said before. And then it's looking even better. So get that 2 up. So S take away ut is equal to at squared. And how do I get rid of at squared? Now that's a times t squared. So if it's a times, I want to do a divide to get rid of it. So it'll be 2 s take away ut divided by t squared. So let's just go back and check that. S, I'm taking away this function because that's one function, add another function. If it was something as simple, just think about it. If it was S equals A plus B, I would just take away A, wouldn't I? Or take away B to make that the function. So that's why I'm just taking away ut. And then I've rewritten this as a divide by 2 because that's much easier for me to visualize, rather than timesing by a half and then I'm dividing this by a half. This has been divided by 2. I'll move the 2 up, but everything's multiplied by 2. And then I want to get rid of my t squared, so it's a times t squared, divide by the t squared. Nice one. I've got a few more minutes to go. Let's go and do this one here. Just got enough space. So f is equal to t squared plus 4b divided by c, and we're making b the subject. So again, this is a classic. This is in a bracket. So I'm going to end up with fc is equal to t squared plus 4b. I should really write cf actually because, write it in alphabetical order. And to get rid of the t squared, I'll say cf take away t squared is equal to 4b. And then to make b the subject, I'll say cf take away t squared, all divided by 4, not t, sorry, divided by 4. So again with this one, you're watching out for your invisible bracket. You're timesing by c, because that's a divide. You're adding these two together. So to get rid of t squared, I'll take away t squared, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 4, because that's 4 times b. And then I've just flipped it around so the b's on this side. Nice. I think I'll do one more and then we'll call that. I think I will do. I think I'll just scroll down to. I'll quickly do these last two actually. I'll say y ax cubed plus c. So just watch what I'm doing for this one. Absolutely, yeah. So just taking away c, divided by a, and then cube root. That's the classic BODMAS in reverse. That one, the classic BODMAS in reverse. And I've just got enough time for the last one. And really, what I should be doing actually. In fact, I'm going to stop there. Really, what I should be doing with this, and I've not done it here because we discussed it in the first line. But I really should be showing my work, and I really should do a method line down the side, take away c, yeah, dividing by a, and then cube rooting. Just show you're working on the side as to what you're doing. I'll maybe very quickly just try and do this. So x divided by c plus a is equal to b. So get rid of your a. So x divided by c, b take away. So I'm taking away a. And then I want to do times by c to get x on its own. So it'll be c, b take away a. Yeah, I hope we all CBA. Yeah, I hope we can. Yeah, we can be, not can be. So yeah, BODMAS in reverse is a big one. Watch out for those invisible brackets, and you do the opposite to move something over. Thanks for listening.